The core premise of the Monster Hunter games is to study monsters to death, researching how their amputated limbs and organs can best serve as hats, and on the end of sticks to then bash monsters with even more so, for the sake of studying of course. As with any RPGs, your gear progressively gets stronger, and with so many options available to you, this can be quite overwhelming. This is one of the most asked questions that I get, so let's take a look at a loose framework of a weapons progression guide that you can follow along with, of course diverting here and there if you wish to try certain things out. I not only encourage that, I recommend it. However, if you stick to exactly what's in here, you will be absolutely fine as well. I'm Light It Up Dan. I love making videos that reduces the overwhelm and unknown of the Monster Hunter games. If you haven't caught the decorations farming progression guide, that might be something you want to check out after this one. And if you're one of the majority of viewers returning to the channel, consider joining the very attractive 20% who do subscribe. And with that said, let's jump in. When you're first diving into Iceborne, unless you're using the full defender's gear with both the weapon and the armors, there is an enormous amount of power creep that hits you instantly in the face. You're going to want to get master rank gear made up as quickly as possible. If you are using the defender's weapons and you're on the end tree, the most upgraded one, there's no need to get this weapon first. You can just skip this one and go over to the next one. But any direct craft weapon that you can make out of pretty basic resources is going to be a fantastic starting point. Think something on the ore tree, the bone tree, or even Great Jagras or Beotodus if the weapon allows. Have a little look through the weapon tree and you can make a decision based on what's available. Let's take the ore tree for example over here. Eltalite ores are found very commonly from the blue mining outcrops in any region in master rank. Pure crystals are found as a rare gather from those same nodes as well. Carbolite ores are super common from any region in high rank. You should have a stack of them naturally from your progression up until this point. And fire cell stones are a rare gather from Elder's Recess mining outcrops, both in high rank but much more commonly so in master rank. And just like that, you've gathered up the resources to make yourself your first master rank weapon, bringing you in line with a huge jump in difficulty and power creep. Congratulations! What's dope about the ore tree weapons as well is they've only got hidden elemental or status on them, meaning if you equip the level 2 gem Elementless, you can significantly increase the raw damage of the weapon, giving it quite a nice boost immediately. Remember that in World Elemental got done dirty and raw really is king, so it's what you should be prioritizing and putting your focus on. This or any other early Iceborne direct craft weapon that you can make is going to see you through all the way up until the next one. You'll be upgrading to the Guild Palace weapons, which are rarity 10 with good raw, white sharpness 10% affinity, a level 3 gem slot, and a plus 30 defense bonus as well. Also having hidden elemental so you can boost the raw damage further with Elementless. You can acquire all of the components you need to craft these weapons from running the MR7 event 50 Shades of White, hitting you against a Barioth in the arena. You're going to reach MR7 very early on into your Iceborne campaign, meaning you're not going to be waiting long for this upgrade at all. Barioth can present as a wall to players due to its very high aggression and mobility. By focusing out your damage on its wings, you will cause the monster to trip every time it leaps across the stage, and provided it's not already toppled when you get the part breaks, breaking the wings will get you a free topple too. 3 blight resist or 20 ice resistance can be very useful as well, as you'll have ice blight immunity. And once you're done turning your pants 50 shades of brown, you'll be rewarded with your fest tickets amongst your other materials too. In order to craft the Guild Palace weapons, you'll be needing 2 fest tickets, 2 amber hardfangs, 5 graciums, and 1 pure crystal. What's beautiful about the 50 Shades of White event is that it's completely self-contained. You can acquire all of these materials from just running that event alone. And again, good raw white sharpness 10% affinity, a level 3 gem slot plus 30 defense bonus, and it can be further boosted with Elementless as well. The weapon can be upgraded after this, but it requires you to do arenas, and I don't really recommend it. It's not worth. And besides, in its first tier form, it is absolutely excellent and will see you through the entirety of the Iceborne campaign if you so choose to do so. Any other weapons you want to experiment with between now and then is completely up to you, and I do encourage you to explore, as the next and all future upgrades are going to be post-campaign. Also, very much worth mentioning that the Guild Palace weapons are some of the coolest designs in the entire game. They look like goddamn Final Fantasy Ultimate Weapon. A very fantastical knight vibe to them. So sick. Whatever you decided on, your next upgrade will be the Frostfang Barrier Direct Craft weapons, which are rarity 11 with really good raw, a bit of purple sharpness, some more than others on certain weapons, a big chunk of white sharpness with 15% affinity, and a massive amount of ice elemental as well. This time we're after the last White Knight, an MR24 event up against a tempered Frostfang Barrier in Hoarfrost Reach. Start at Central Camp 7 as its nest is just around the corner, and then you're going to be applying basically the same strategy as the regular Barrier, but just keeping in mind that Frostfang Barrier has a lot more ice breath attacks, and can even root you in place as well. In addition to going for the wing part breaks so that it trips every time it leaps across the stage, you're going to want to actively go for the head part breaks, not just because you're aiming for the weak point of the monster, but because each of the 2 head breaks you can get on the Frostfang will reduce the efficacy of its ice attacks, including the damage of the blasts and how long you're rooted in place for too. So make sure you're really going out of your way to get all of those delicious part breaks. And once you're done transforming the last White Knight into a brown bishop, you'll be rewarded with your Frostfang ticket and various other parts. The Frostfang weapons require 3 Frostfang tickets, 3 silver white Frostfangs, 2 Berg Crusher claws, and 1 large Wyvern gem. As per the 50 Shades of White Guild Palace weapon event, this is a fully self-contained event giving you all of the components that you need in order to make your direct craft Frostfang weapons. You may have to run it several times to have enough of the components, but they all drop from the event itself. Once more, you've got these rarity 11 weapons with fantastic raw, a bit of purple sharpness and a massive chunk of white, 15% affinity and a large amount of ice elemental as well, making the go-to candidate weapon up against Alatreon. So not only are you upgrading in a general sense, you're getting yourself Alatreon ready too. A common theme that you're going to find with these weapons listed here is that they all have these fantastic, beautiful, unique designs to them, some of the very best available in the game. So getting powered up and looking goddamn glorious while you do it. A really sick weapon that's great on all fronts. But if that's not a big enough step up for you from your Guild Palace weapon, especially if it's boosted with Elementless, then you're going to need your next upgrade as soon as possible. Next, we're going to be jumping into Monkey Business, an MR24 event up against Furious Rajang in Hoarfrost Reach. The Furious Rajang weapons are absolutely next level. They're what I refer to as breakthrough weapons, the sort of upgrade that really sees you go up a tier, coming in at rarity 12 with a tremendous amount of raw damage, big purple sharpness and a decent chunk of white as well, 15% affinity and even some thunder elemental chucked on top. That wombo combo of the raw damage, the purple sharpness and the 15% affinity is truly spectacular. What an awesome direct craft weapon. The kicker is, you have to beat Furious Rajang to get it, and he can be really tricky. The thing about Furious Rajang is it's a very relentless monster. It feels like there's absolutely no opening, but after some time and some practice you'll see that there are plenty of openings, only that the windows are small and directly after its attacks. Learning to navigate those openings will be the key to your success. Also, take 1 Tremor Resist. It will give you full immunity to all of Furious Rajang's tremors. All of the events covered here have their own dedicated do not skip videos that I've done on them, so if you're looking for any more info or deeper strategy up against the monsters, do check those out, they will help further. Focus out your damage on the head, and there's no tail to go for to knock him out of Furious mode. He's just constantly Super Saiyan Rajang, and be mindful of the anti-clutch claw mechanic he's got. If you decide to claw on when he's not busy with something else, you're gonna get Hulk smashed Loki style, and it's gonna be hilarious. Once you're done sympathizing with Frieza and his cause, you'll be rewarded with all of your Furious Rajang parts, including what feels like a higher chance to get the Rajang hearts. In order to make these fantastic Demon Lord weapons, you're going to need 3 ghoulish gold Goras, 2 Rajang apoplexies, 5 gold Rajang pelt pluses, and 1 Rajang heart. In exchange, you get this direct craft rarity 12 weapon with tremendous raw, big purple sharpness and a chunk of white, 15% affinity and some thunder elemental too, with some of the sickest weapon designs in the game once again. Do not skip out on these, they are amazing weapons that will elevate your hunter to the next level for sure. Besides, to face up against the next monster so that you can get your next upgrade, you're going to need to make sure that you are geared up. The next stop in your easy weapon progression framework sees you tackling the Achy Breaky Heart, an optional MR24 quest up against Raging Brachydios, which is the repeatable version of the special assignment you have to do first. These are essentially the second best weapons in the game after the Fatalis weapons. Tremendous raw, a bit of purple and a chunk of white sharpness, 0% neutral affinity, and a big chunk of blast status element, with a level 4 and level 3 gem slot baked in as well. Absolutely unbelievable. The fact that it's a breakthrough weapon after the Furious Rajang breakthrough through just speaks to how damn good these weapons are. But you've got to fight quite the meanie for these. Do yourself an enormous favor and somehow, someway, make sure you take 3 blast resist. If you don't, you are going to suffer. Worse, because you're going to be suffering either way. Try not to run into the explodey slime. Make sure that you hit the glowing red parts to knock the flashpoint slime off, which explodes instantly and for more damage. Don't let the monster create distance between you, that's when it gets really dangerous. Hug its body and get your damage out on its legs and on its fists. Any part breaks on the points where it loads up its flashpoint slime are going to be very helpful, as they get weakened as a consequence of the part break. In its final phase, after its temper tantrum and transforming into a charcoal, the slime changes into a damage over time, which can be detonated after a stunning roar by the raging Bracky, so just watch what you're stepping in, as this attack can easily cart you and your squad. After you're done getting bukakied in flashpoint slime, you'll be rewarded with your raging Bracky parts, and you're hoping for an immortal reactor. To craft the light break weapons, you will need 3 Brack obliterators, a Brack warhead, 4 indestructible ebon shells, and 1 immortal reactor. You might struggle to grab the immortal reactor, but you can meld it from the smelly Elder Melder Smelder, who, remember, does indeed stink, in exchange for one of your very valuable Celestial Wyverian prints, allowing you to make this fantastic direct craft rarity 12 weapon, once again with amazing roar, a chunk of purple and big white sharpness, neutral 0% affinity, we're not that fussed on that, and really decent blast status elemental, finished with a level 4 and a level 3 gem slot to boot. Super cool designs, and that really cool orangey red flashpoint slime glow it's got as well. Absolutely incredible. These are like Defender's weapons on steroids, giving you the power that you need to clear any of the game's content with ease. That is, unless you're trying to go for the next upgrade, as that ain't gonna be anything close to easy, son. This will be the final upgrade, the ultimate weapon. All paths lead here, but are you ready? Fade to Black is the MR24 event up against Fatalis, and is a repeatable event available to you after you've completed the Black Dragon special assignment, giving you access to the absolutely monstrous Fatalis weapons, which do need to be upgraded to unlock their full potential, with unbelievable roar, purple and white sharpness, negative affinity that needs to be buffered out, some dragon elemental and high elder seal, with 2 level 4 gem slots baked in. These are in an entire league of their own and are truly ultimate weapons. But just because the event is MR24 doesn't mean that you should do it as soon as you've beaten the campaign. In a perfect world, I would say do not attempt this until post MR100, once you've got full access to all of your augmentations. I'm talking about for rarity 12 weapons and for all of your armors. But realistically, that's an additional 100 hours of natural playtime for your average player once they've beaten the campaign. Just try and make sure you're as ready as you can be, and definitely bring plenty of defensive skills like Divine Blessing as well as your aggressive ones. I'm not going to get too much into the strategy and the how-to with this fight over here, because that truly does deserve its own separate video, but very briefly, you're going to want to aim for the monster's head as much as possible to get the part breaks. When you can't quite get there, you're going to hit the chest instead to deal some damage. After the second phase is finished and you've already gone behind the gate to avoid its giant flames, if you haven't got any of the head breaks, you will deal with the full force of the blue flame Fatalis, which is cart central. Use the roaming ballista against its chest with heavy artillery to get an additional topple, and make use of the 2 one-shot binders to pin Fatalis in place so you can get those beautiful head breaks. A fully broken head equals a guaranteed Fatalis eye at the end, which you're going to need many of. After ridding the world of the Black Dragon, the fabled Scourge, you'll be rewarded with your various Fatalis parts, and hopefully 1 or more Fatalis evil eyes. The first form of the Fatalis weapons are pretty useless, and really you have to fully upgrade it before it's at all functional. The initial craft requiring 3 Fatalis shards, 1 Fatalis Hardhorn, a Fatalis Pectus, and 1 Fatalis Evil Eye, with the upgrade requiring 1 large Elder Dragon gem, 2 Fatalis Pectuses, 2 Fatalis Hardhorns, and another Fatalis Evil Eye. You cannot meld any Fatalis Evil Eyes at the smelly Elder Melder Smelder, so you're just gonna have to get good. If you can manage it, you get the ultimate weapons, with a massive amount of raw damage, purple sharpness, some negative affinity you do need to buffer out as I said, bit of dragon elemental with high elder seal, and 2 level 4 gem slots. The raw damage alone is absolutely insane. It is unlike anything else you've encountered in the game so far, as is the hunt you have to beat in order to get this gear. My biggest piece of advice is do not be in a massive rush to get this. If you get yourself carried through Fatalis, you are robbing yourself of one of the most satisfying experiences in the game. I'm not saying don't do it in a group, group. I'm not even saying don't do it early. I'm saying don't get carried. That's your easy weapons progression guide framework. Follow it as loosely or rigidly as you like, but even if you only follow the upgrade path listed in the framework, you'll still have a damn good time. Let me know how you get on in the comments. I would love to hear from you, with the majority of you returning to the channel from shorts or other guides. If you enjoy the videos, do subscribe, come join the open sessions we do on the Discord and during the live streams over on Twitch. I will leave all of these links for you in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the new world.